Maya Chen wiped the sweat from her brow as she made final adjustments to the prosthetic arm laid out on her workbench. The basement laboratory of New Singapore's Adaptive Technology Center hummed with the quiet pulse of quantum processors and neural interfaces. Outside, the eternal summer rain drummed against the reinforced windows, creating a soothing rhythm that helped her focus on the intricate work. The arm wasn't just any prosthetic. It was her latest breakthrough in cross-species medical technology. Designed for a Proximan dock worker who had lost his upper limbs in an industrial accident, it incorporated Maya's revolutionary adaptive neural mapping system. If it worked, it would be the first successful human-designed prosthetic compatible with non-human nervous systems. A gentle chime from her comm unit broke her concentration. "Dr. Chen." The AI assistant's voice was apologetic. "Director Williams insists on speaking with you. He says it's urgent." Maya sighed, carefully setting down her tools. "Put him through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the stern face of her supervisor. "Chen, we need to talk about your latest requisition forms. The board is questioning the resources you're devoting to cross-species applications. With respect, Director, we can't ignore the growing need for adaptive prosthetics in non-human populations. The Proximan case alone is outside our mandate." Williams cut her off. "The center's funding comes from human medical initiatives. The board wants results that benefit human patients." Maya felt her jaw clench. Medical science shouldn't be restricted by species. "Idealism doesn't pay the bills, Dr. Chen. Wrap up your current project and redirect your focus to human applications. That's an order." The hologram vanished before Maya could respond. She slumped in her chair, running her fingers through her short black hair. 6 years of research, and they wanted her to abandon it because it wasn't profitable enough. A soft knock at her laboratory door pulled her from her thoughts. "We're closed," she called out automatically. "Please," a melodic voice responded. "I was told Dr. Maya Chen might be able to help me." Something in the voice's tone, hope mixed with desperation, made Maya rise and open the door. She found herself face to face with a centaurian, her iridescent scales shifting from blue to purple in the laboratory's light. But what caught Maya's attention was the sophisticated hover chair the alien sat in, and the atrophied lower body it supported. "I'm Zarak," the centaurian said, her four-fingered hands nervously adjusting her simple tunic. "3 years ago, I was competing in the Interstellar Games when my gravity suit malfunctioned during the Zero-G athletics event. The medical technology on my homeworld can't repair the nerve damage. But I've heard about your work with neural interfaces." Maya glanced at her abandoned project on the workbench, then at the fresh order from Director Williams glowing on her display. She should turn Zarak away. The board would never approve resources for treating a non-human athlete. But as she looked into Zarak's eyes, so alien in their crystalline structure yet so familiar in their pain and hope, Maya made her decision. "Come in," she said, holding the door wider. "Tell me more about your injury." Over the next hour, Maya learned Zarak's story. The Centaurian had been her planet's champion in low-gravity acrobatics, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in three-dimensional space. The accident hadn't just taken her mobility. It had stolen her identity. "The doctors say the neural patterns of my species are too complex for standard prosthetics," Zarak explained, her scales dimming to a deep blue of sadness. "Even if they could build mechanical legs, they couldn't interface with my nervous system." Maya pulled up her research data, projecting a complex network of neural pathways into the air between them. Traditional interfaces are static. They expect the nervous system to adapt to them. But what if we could create an interface that adapts to the nervous system instead? She manipulated the hologram, showing how her quantum processors could dynamically map and respond to neural patterns. The challenge isn't just building legs that can walk. It's building legs that can learn. "You really think it's possible?" Zarak's scales brightened slightly, hope creeping into her voice. Maya met her gaze steadily. "I think that anyone who can perform triple axels in Zero-G deserves a chance to dance again. It won't be easy." We'll need to develop entirely new protocols, run countless tests, and she hesitated. Officially, I'm not supposed to be working on cross-species applications at all. Zarek's scales rippled with understanding. You would risk your position to help me. Sometimes the right path isn't the authorized one. Maya smiled, extending her hand in the traditional Centaurian greeting, palm up with fingers spread. I can't promise success, but I promise to try. Zarek pressed her own hand against Maya's, the touch sending a slight electrical tingle through both of them, a quirk of Centaurian biology. On my world, we have a saying. The longest journey begins with a single neuron firing. When do we start? Maya's smile widened as she turned to her workbench. No time like the present. First, we need to map your neural architecture. Then we can begin designing an interface that speaks your nervous system's language. As she began setting up the scanning equipment, Maya felt a familiar excitement building in her chest. This was why she had become a prosthetics engineer, not to follow corporate mandates, but to help people reclaim their lives, regardless of their species. Whatever obstacles lay ahead, she knew this was a journey worth taking. The rain continued its steady rhythm outside, but inside the laboratory, hope was taking root, growing stronger with each beat. The old quantum lab in Singapore's abandoned tech district looked nothing like the sterile facilities of the Adaptive Technology Center. Exposed pipes dripped condensation from the ceiling, and the walls were covered in makeshift thermal shielding. But to Maya Chen, it was perfect, a place where innovation could happen without corporate oversight. Are you certain this equipment is safe? Zarek asked, her hover chair humming softly as she examined the jury-rigged neural scanner. 3 weeks had passed since their first meeting, and Maya had been working nearly around the clock to set up this secret laboratory. Safe is relative, came a gravelly voice from behind them. Dr. Sarah Martinez emerged from the back room, her silver hair tied back in a practical bun, carrying a crate of quantum processors. The retired neuroengineer had been Maya's mentor during her graduate studies, and she hadn't hesitated when Maya called asking for help. What Sarah means, Maya explained, adjusting the scanner's alignment, is that everything here is experimental, but it's our best chance at developing an interface that can handle Centaurian neural complexity. Zarek's scales shifted to a thoughtful green. The medical authorities on my world would never approve such unorthodox methods. Good thing we're not on your world then. Sarah set down the crate with a grunt. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs happen outside the system. Maya, these processors are ready for configuration. Maya nodded, pulling up the holographic display. The neural mapping software she developed filled the air with streams of data, each line representing potential pathways between Centaurian nervous system and mechanical interface. The challenge, she explained to Zarek, isn't just connecting the prosthetics to your nerve endings. We need to create a system that can learn and adapt to your unique neural patterns. Standard quantum processors can't handle the complexity, but if we network them together. She manipulated the hologram, showing how multiple processors could work in parallel, each handling a different aspect of the neural translation. It's like teaching a computer to speak a new language, but instead of words, we're working with nerve impulses. And if it fails? Zarek asked quietly. Then we try again, Maya said firmly. That's the thing about humans. We're stubborn that way. Sarah snorted. Stubborn is an understatement. I've never seen anyone as determined as Maya when she sets her mind to something. Now shall we begin the initial neural mapping? The next few hours were intense concentration as they carefully mapped Zarek's neural pathways. The Centaurian's nervous system was indeed more complex than anything Maya had worked with before, a beautiful, intricate dance of electrical impulses that seemed to follow its own alien logic. Fascinating, Sarah murmured, studying the readings. The neural patterns aren't just more complex, they're more adaptable than human ones. See how they shift and reorganize. Maya leaned closer to the display. That's why standard interfaces fail. They can't keep up with the changes. But maybe, She typed rapidly, modifying the interface algorithms. Maybe we can use that adaptability to our advantage. A warning alarm from Zarak's hover chair interrupted their work. My apologies, she said, her scales flushing with embarrassment. The medical monitoring system. If I don't return to my assigned quarters soon, it will alert the authorities. We'll continue tomorrow. Maya helped disconnect the scanning equipment. I think we're onto something here. After Zarak left, Sarah turned to her former student. You know the risks you're taking. If the center finds out you're conducting unauthorized experiments, they'll fire me. Maya finished. I know, but you're the one who taught me that sometimes you have to choose between following rules and following your conscience. Sarah smiled. And you're the one who taught me that impossible just means no one's been stubborn enough to solve it yet. She gestured at the neural data still floating in the air. This could change everything, Maya. Not just for Zarak, but for interspecies medicine as a whole. If we can get it to work. Maya ran her fingers through her hair, a habit when she was thinking deeply. The quantum processing network is only part of the solution. We need to develop new materials that can interface with Centaurian biology, design mechanical systems that can handle their unique gravitational requirements. One problem at a time, Sarah advised. You've already broken the biggest barrier, proving that cross-species neural integration is possible. The rest is just engineering. Just engineering, she says. Maya laughed. Like building the first faster-than-light drive was just engineering. Humanity's greatest achievements usually start with someone saying, "What if?" Sarah pointed out. And then being too stubborn to give up when everyone else says it's impossible. Maya turned back to the neural data, her mind already racing with new possibilities. They were breaking new ground here, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. It wasn't just about building robotic legs anymore. It was about proving that the barriers between species could be overcome, one neural connection at a time. Outside, the neon signs of the tech district cast their multicolored glow through the laboratory's windows, a reminder of the city's endless energy and innovation. In this forgotten corner of New Singapore, 2 humans and a Centaurian were quietly working to change the future of medical science, one impossible problem at a time. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she made the final connections to the quantum processing array. 6 weeks of work had led to this moment. The networked processors hummed with potential, their crystalline matrices glowing with an inner light that filled the makeshift laboratory. Neural interface diagnostic complete, the system announced. Bridge stability at 97%. Sarah looked up from her monitoring station, her eyes wide. Maya, these readings, I've never seen anything like it. The quantum network isn't just processing the neural signals, it's anticipating them. That's the breakthrough, Maya explained, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. Traditional interfaces try to translate neural signals in real time, but there's always a lag. This system uses quantum prediction algorithms to bridge the gap between thought and action. Zarak watched from her hover chair, her scales shifting through patterns of anxiety and hope. Over the past weeks, she had become more than just a patient. She had become part of the team, her insights into Centaurian neurology proving invaluable. The theoretical models look promising, she said, her translator struggling to keep up with her rapid speech. But neural integration is only the first challenge. My species evolved in variable gravity environments. Even if we can establish a connection, controlling robotic legs designed for Earth's constant gravity, already accounted for, Maya interrupted with a grin. She pulled up a holographic display showing the mechanical design. The prosthetics incorporate miniaturized gravity compensators. They'll automatically adjust to match your body's natural expectations. Sarah whistleblow. Gravity tech at that scale. The power requirements alone would be impossible with standard energy cells, Maya agreed. That's why I borrowed design concepts from Centaurian zero-G suits. The prosthetics will actually generate power from gravitational fluctuations. You've integrated our technology. Zarak's scales flushed with surprise and something like pride. Human ingenuity meets Centaurian innovation, Maya said. That's what this project has always been about, proving that we're stronger when we work together. A warning light flashed on Sarah's console. Security sweep incoming. Someone scanning the district's power grid. Maya's heart raced. They'd been careful to mask their energy signature, but the quantum processors required enormous power. How long? 10 minutes, maybe less. They'll detect us soon. Then it's time. Maya turned to Zorak. We can't wait any longer. Are you ready for the first test? The Centaurian's scales rippled with determination. I've been ready for 3 years. Working quickly, they connected the neural interface to Zorak's spinal implant. The quantum network came alive, streams of data flowing between biological and mechanical systems. Maya held her breath as the first diagnostic signals passed through the bridge. Neural connection stable, the system reported. Beginning pattern recognition. Zorak gasped. I can feel something, like echoes of movement. The system is mapping your neural pathways, Maya explained, watching the readings carefully. Try to imagine moving your legs, one at a time. The holographic display erupted with activity as Zorak's thoughts triggered cascading responses through the quantum network. The processors hummed louder, their crystalline matrices pulsing with energy. Incredible, Sarah breathed. The adaptation rate is off the charts. The system isn't just learning, it's evolving. Another warning light flashed. Power spike detected in Sector 7. An automated voice announced. Security drones dispatched for investigation. We need to shut down, Sarah warned. If they trace the signature. Not yet, Maya insisted, her eyes locked on the neural readings. We're so close. Zorak, how does it feel? Like remembering how to dance, the Centaurian whispered. The patterns are there, just waiting. The laboratory door burst open. Director Williams stood in the doorway, flanked by corporate security officers. Dr. Chen, he said, his voice cold. I should have known you wouldn't follow orders. Maya stepped protectively in front of the neural interface controls. This is bigger than orders, Director. We've done it, created the first truly adaptive cross-species neural bridge. Think of the possibilities. The possibilities for profit, you mean? Williams stepped into the lab, his eyes taking in the experimental setup. Do you have any idea how many corporations would pay for this technology? The military applications alone. This isn't about military applications, Maya shot back. It's about helping people walk again, regardless of their species. Always the idealist. Williams signaled to his security team. Shut it down and secure everything. The board will be very interested in this unauthorized research. Wait, Zorak's voice cut through the tension. The neural bridge, it's still active. If you force a shutdown now. Maya's eyes widened in alarm. A sudden disconnection could damage Zorak's already injured nervous system. But the security team was already moving toward the equipment. In that moment, Sarah made her decision. The old engineer's fingers flew across her console, initiating an emergency protocol she had hoped never to use. Maya, get Zorak out of here. I'll handle this. Sarah, no. Go. The laboratory's backup systems suddenly activated, filling the room with blinding light and waves of electromagnetic interference. In the chaos, Maya disconnected Zorak's neural interface and activated her hover chair's emergency propulsion. As they fled through the back exit, Maya caught one last glimpse of her mentor standing defiantly between the security team and the quantum processors. The sound of crackling energy and shouting followed them into the neon-lit streets of the tech district. The race to save their breakthrough, and Zorak's chance to walk again, had just become a lot more complicated. The maintenance tunnels beneath New Singapore's tech district were a maze of shadows and steam pipes, forgotten relics of the city's early days. Maya guided Zorak's hover chair through the narrow passages, her mind racing with possibilities and fears. The neural interface components, hastily salvaged from the lab, clinked softly in her backpack. Sarah, Zaruk's scales had dimmed to a deep blue of concern. Will she be all right? If anyone can handle Williams and his security team, it's her, Maya said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. She's been outmaneuvering corporate bureaucrats since before I was born. They emerged into an abandoned subway station, its walls covered in bioluminescent moss that cast everything in a soft green glow. Maya had discovered this place during her early research days, when she needed somewhere quiet to think. Now it would serve as their emergency lab. The neural bridge readings, Zaruk said as Maya helped her position the hover chair. Before they interrupted us, they were successful, weren't they? Maya nodded, already unpacking the salvaged equipment. More than successful. The quantum network adapted to your neural patterns perfectly, with more time to refine the interface. Her comm unit chimed with an encrypted message. Sarah's voice came through, distorted but unmistakable. Labs compromised. Williams has everything. But I managed to wipe the core algorithms. They can't recreate the neural bridge without them. A pause then. I'm going dark for a while. Trust your instincts, Maya. And remember what I taught you about backup plans. The message ended. Maya's hands clenched into fists. Years of research, countless breakthroughs, all now in corporate hands. But Sarah's last words sparked a memory. Backup plans, she muttered, then louder. Zaruk, what was your event specialty in the games? The Centaurian scales shifted in confusion. Three-dimensional acrobatics. But why? Because you didn't just perform movements. You choreographed them, planned every rotation, every gravitational shift. Maya's fingers flew across her portable console, pulling up new calculations. Your neural patterns aren't just complex, they're precise. That's why the bridge worked so well. Understanding dawned in Zaruk's crystalline eyes. You think we can rebuild it? Not rebuild. Improve. Maya projected a hologram of the neural interface design. The version Williams seized was built around human assumptions about movement. But if we redesign it specifically for Centaurian neurology, using your muscle memory as a foundation. She worked through the night, fueled by determination and synthetic caffeine. Zaruk stayed awake with her, providing crucial insights into how her species perceived and processed movement. Together, they created something new, a neural interface that didn't just bridge the gap between biology and machinery, but celebrated their differences. Dawn was breaking when Maya made the final adjustments to the prototype legs. They were sleeker than the original design, incorporating elements of Centaurian aesthetics, curves that flowed like liquid metal, joints that moved with almost organic grace. The corporate runners will be searching the city, Zaruk said softly. Even if this works, how can we prove its value before they find us? Maya's tired face broke into a grin. By giving them exactly what they don't expect. She pulled up a public news feed, showing an announcement for the upcoming Interstellar Medical Conference. Williams and the board will be there, ready to present their breakthrough in cross-species medical technology. You want to demonstrate the real breakthrough, in front of everyone. Better. Maya's eyes sparkled with that dangerous gleam that meant she had an outrageous plan. I want you to dance. The next few days passed in a blur of careful calibration and secret practice sessions. The abandoned station became their sanctuary, its cavernous space perfect for testing the neural interface's response to increasingly complex movements. The first time Zaruk stood on the robotic legs, her scales blazed with such brilliant joy that Maya had to shield her eyes. Each day brought new progress. First steps becoming smooth strides, basic movements evolving into the beginning of dance. The gravity compensators are responding perfectly, Maya noted, watching Zaruk perform a simple rotation. How does it feel? Like remembering, Zaruk replied, her voice thick with emotion. But also like learning something new. The neural bridge doesn't just copy my old movements, it helps me create new ones. They were interrupted by another encrypted message, this time from an unexpected source. Dr. Martinez had surfaced briefly to warn them. Williams had discovered their location and was sending a security team to shut them down. "We're not ready," Zorak said, her scales flickering with anxiety. "The neural bridge still needs fine-tuning for complex movements." Maya looked at their work. The prototype legs, the refined interface, the dreams of two worlds combined into something revolutionary. "Maybe we're more ready than we think." She met Zorak's gaze. "Do you trust me?" The Centaurian scales shifted to a deep gold of absolute certainty. "With my life and my future." "Then let's show them what happens when human determination meets Centaurian grace." Maya began rapidly packing their essential equipment. "The conference starts tomorrow. Instead of hiding from Williams, we're going to make sure everyone sees exactly what we've achieved." As they prepared to leave their underground sanctuary, Maya caught Zorak attempting a dance move she hadn't yet mastered. The Centaurian wobbled but didn't fall, the neural interface compensating smoothly for the imperfect movement. "Ready to change the future of medical science?" Maya asked. Zorak's answer was to execute a perfect pivot, her new legs moving with fluid precision. "Ready to show the universe what's possible when we rise together." The Grand Assembly Hall of the Interstellar Medical Conference buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiered seating, their murmured conversations creating a symphony of different languages. On the main stage, Director Williams stood at the podium, his corporate smile practiced and perfect. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored beings," he began, "Adaptive Technology Center is proud to present a breakthrough in cross-species medical innovation." Maya watched from the shadows of the maintenance corridor, her heart pounding. Beside her, Zorak stood quietly on her new legs, scales shifting through patterns of nervous energy. They had spent the entire night making final adjustments to the neural interface, pushing the quantum processors to their limits. "Dr. Sarah Martinez sends her regards," a voice whispered behind them. Maya turned to find a young technician offering them security badges. "She said you might need help with the presentation systems." Maya smiled. Even in hiding, her mentor was still looking out for them. "Ready?" she asked Zorak. The Centaurian scales settled into a determined gold. 3 years ago, I lost more than my legs in that accident. I lost my belief in possibilities. You helped me find it again." On stage, Williams was reaching the climax of his presentation. "Through proprietary quantum processing technology, we have solved the challenge of cross-species neural integration. The implications for military applications alone." "Interesting theory." Maya's voice cut through the hall as she stepped into the light. "But I think we need a practical demonstration." The security teams moved to intercept her, but they froze as Zorak emerged from the shadows. The Centaurian walked with fluid grace, each step a perfect fusion of biological control and mechanical precision. The audience gasped as she approached the stage. "Impossible," Williams breathed into his microphone. The neural interface was incomplete. "Because you were asking the wrong questions," Maya interrupted, taking the secondary podium. "You wanted to force alien biology to conform to human standards. But true innovation comes from embracing our differences." She activated the main display, showing the real-time neural feedback between Zorak's nervous system and the prosthetic legs. The quantum network doesn't just translate neural signals. It learns, adapts, grows, just like the beings it connects. Zorak moved to the center of the stage. 3 years ago, I was an athlete. Then I was a victim. Today, I am a pioneer." She looked out at the assembled beings. "And I would like to show you what is possible when we dare to dream beyond our limitations." The lights dimmed. From hidden speakers, music began to play. A haunting melody that combined Centaurian harmonics with human orchestration. Zorak began to dance. It was unlike anything the audience had ever seen. She moved in 3 dimensions, the gravity compensators allowing her to float and spin in ways that seemed to defy physics. Each movement was a perfect blend of alien grace and human engineering, telling a story of loss, perseverance, and rebirth. The neural interface responded instantly to her thoughts, the robotic legs moving as naturally as flesh and bone. When she finally came to rest, hovering above the stage in a pose that captured both strength and serenity, the hall erupted in thunderous applause. Maya stepped forward. This is not just a medical breakthrough. It's proof that when we work together, when we combine the best of all our species, there are no limitations we cannot overcome. The next hours passed in a blur of questions, demonstrations, and impromptu technical discussions. Medical experts from a dozen worlds crowded around, amazed by the adaptive neural interface. Military representatives left disappointed when Maya made it clear the technology would remain purely therapeutic. "The board will want to discuss your future with the company," Williams said stiffly, approaching Maya as the crowds began to thin. "I'm sure they will," Maya smiled. "But I think they'll find I have other plans." She nodded toward where Zorak was speaking with a group of young aliens in mobility assistance devices, their eyes shining with new hope. "Dr. Chen," a voice called out. Maya turned to find a Proximan diplomat approaching. "The Medical Council is very interested in establishing a new research division for cross-species medical technology, with proper funding and complete academic freedom." Later, as they stood on the observation deck watching the sunset paint New Singapore's skyline in brilliant colors, Zorak turned to Maya. "What you said about combining the best of all species, you truly believe that's possible?" Maya watched a group of children below, human, Centaurian, and others, playing together without concern for their differences. "I believe it's necessary. The universe is too vast and wonderful for any one species to face it alone. Then I'm glad it was a human who helped me walk again." Zorak's scales shifted to a new color, one Maya had never seen before. "Your species has many remarkable qualities, but I think your greatest strength is your ability to see possibilities where others see only problems." "Speaking of possibilities," Maya grinned, "how do you feel about helping me design a new research facility? I hear the Medical Council is very interested in our ideas about adaptive technology." "As long as it has a proper dance studio," Zorak replied, executing a perfect pirouette that would have been impossible a week ago. "We have so many new movements to explore." As they began discussing plans for the future, Maya reflected on how far they'd come. What had started as a simple desire to help one person walk again had grown into something that would change countless lives across the galaxy. But more than that, it had proven what humanity had always believed, that the stars themselves were not our limitation, but our inspiration. And when we reached out to those different from ourselves with open minds and determined hearts, there was no boundary we could not cross, no challenge we could not overcome. Together, they had not just built a bridge between species, they had taken the first steps toward a future where such bridges would no longer be necessary.